The woman was smiling a second ago. In the next second, the love was solidified in an instant. Because she saw the signal on the pole. She couldn't believe her eyes. Because this man is in his own home. Go in a hurry after payment. Bargy didn't leave. Instead, hide in the warehouse and wait for the crowd to retreat. It's dark. The woman saw that there were very few people in the market. So I hurried up and wanted to tear off the pass order on the rod. But it's right here. The body suddenly stretched out a hand. The original one is the village one. He looked at the woman lustfully. He knows what's going on. So he wants to force a woman to punish him with something. Then he left Xiao Jilin. The village can't wait. He goes up to the woman and grabs the woman. Then you want to buy it. Women can only resist with force. Right there. Someone happened to. Dear, someone is here. The woman fled the village and went home. The woman is called Chuhua. It's the outskirts of Phoenix Village. And her man died 7 years ago. Only 3 of them were left alone and widowed. The family lived in bamboo. One day she went up the mountain with the baby. On the way home, there's a man in the river. Springflower, busy running to love. The man doesn't have a bite. She has a heart and brought home a strange man who had been tortured. You are sleeping. It's waking up. This is it. I just found out that the man's name is Tarzan. But there he is. Oishiguchi is not mentioned. Look at the wrapped mouth. The woman in front of you. In a remote mountain, suddenly there was a stranger in the widow's house. If the villagers knew, the saliva of love will be done. It must be a beating that the mind and body can bear. So, Chunho hit quick. Spring flowers, I don't know, Dajang. What does the clothes on you mean? Kindly, the child's fathers, take the clothes and put them on. The next day, Spring flowers take a careful photo of Daijang. She just wants men to get better. But this is your home. Don't talk to yourself or your children. Daojang was hesitant to say anything about his own life experience. Spring flowers also don't have. Wipe the mouth with a low temperature. And the days went by. Sky Spring flower go to the market, bamboo. I met my second sister-in-law from the same village halfway through. Is the second sister-in-law hiding a man in her house? Spring flowers are here. The body twitched unnaturally. You know, if anybody finds out about this. In the village, it was packed by various people. She and the baby couldn't lift a penny. So Zhenhua is busy solving. Looking at the spring flowers. The second sister-in-law then showed her. Zhenhua's house is wearing men's clothes. Due to the feeling of spring flowers, things are not good. Then he fell to the ground. The first before the second sister-in-law. Follow along slowly. The second sister-in-law is leading. She got up and ran home. Yuan threw down the bamboo basket. Then put away your clothes. Went to the man's room. She pushes. I was struck by the scene in front of me. The man is saving her a bamboo basket. She wants to kill the guy. But then he swore it back. At this moment, her heart is full of contradictions. Chuanhua had no choice but to go out. Then the man's clothes were left in the courtyard. Late at night, suddenly someone knocked on it. The sound of the village. Chuanhua looks at the sleeping child. I didn't want to ignore him. But outside the village, they kept banging on the wall. I just bought him a small hole and a courtyard. Take advantage of the spring flowers. He jerked up. And he was holding her. Chuanhua is desperately tied.
But how could she push the village?
The original village looks like spring flowers are fuel. I've already thought of her. In the dark, he couldn't stand it anymore. Revealed foxtail. Spring flower quilt village line pressed on the Guanyin wall. Okay, apply it. Until the screams of the spring flowers. The river in the house is coming out. Big shouts. Let her go. In the village, there was an extra man in the widow's house. Out of the mouth. Are you at home? Spring flower, one tidying up clothes. Busy making solutions. He's my cousin. Tell me your order this morning. I accidentally broke my leg. It's not cheap to get yourself. The village will go after twisting. There are only people left in the yard standing next to each other. The next day, spring flowers will return to the water. Looking at Dajang's house. The heart suddenly has a high temperature. Because last night, the man took out his own insurance. She started to have feelings for strange men. Now, everyone in the village knows about this. Chonghua is no longer secretive. In the courtyard, we will take care of the river. You just keep going day by day. Chu San Xiaopi began to complain. Because the food at home is delicious and delicious. It's full of strange men. He ate all the golden eggs in the flat. So there was a grudge. You will play tricks on Daijiang. No, the warehouse is also looking for a beating by itself. It's from the warehouse. Spring flowers, come out. This is the road. You can't go back if you do good deeds. If only one time. That's a very famous human life. Du and I have mixed feelings. This guy, Pai, seems to get it. No more pros and cons. Come back to life. Go to the spring flowers in the yard and see that the river is alive. However, there is a distressing road. Good legs. Why are you still alive? Chunhua looked at the man in front of her. Once again lost in thought. The next day, the cows were raised in the river. Go down to the field with Chunhua mother and daughter. Leave field. Fellow flowers in the river play with a little girl. So, this scene, male and female, it looks very beautiful. This spring flower also revealed a long-lasting smile. She had a deeper connection with the man in front of her. At night, Wu Ox walks in front with his children. Junhua wipes the sweat off her face. Looking at the scene, the heart is thinking 1,000 times. This woman uttered a sentence. Every child in our village has a father. Can I call Uncle Kim Daddy? This sentence broke a long silence. Chunho looked affectionately at the man in front of her, and the man seemed to be hesitant. You can only bury it and eat it in big mouthfuls. Willow on the moon. Chunhua couldn't help but think of the great river of Tian. And this river here is also sleeping. I think of the day I've go away overnight. Chunhua is picking the water bag again. Looking at Da Zhang's house. What's wrong with your heart? He was busy pushing the package. Looking at the whole quilt, left A. It says, salvation. Look, it's old, but it doesn't matter. I don't know what's buried in his heart. He didn't want to burden his family. One night in the warehouse. The most expensive is not to be shipped. The girl is crying. I want that. I want that. This is the heart of spring flowers. But she was really upset. Hold back. I'm sick. The second sister-in-law, Chonghua's illness was caused by missing her. Just when the second sister-in-law fell, the man who didn't want to be killed was. 这个女人 is. Go to the sky. The river pushes in. Look at the man in front of you. The girl shouted when she thought about it. Dad is back. And then he goes to the man. Until the man replies. Chenhua trotted all the way out. So she's imagining a little girl. A man's life. But in this country's feudal society, spring flowers don't dare to take a step out. Looking at this strange and familiar man in front of me. Chenhua's heart is waving again. The legs of the river are already large. He started spring flowers to clean up the yard. Repair house. The river here is more like the head of the family. And Zhonghua also seems to be willing to let him be the master of the house. The family lacks a man in charge. Looking at the man who has lived a day in front of him, spring flowers seem to have found support. And that's when we got home. NIGNT table. All girl, vegetable. And the little girl was like, okay, Dad. Chunhao and Dajiang are once again in a dilemma. Dajiang put down the tableware in his hand, and then he walked out of the house. I'm in love with these beautiful spring flowers. OE is a fugitive. Is this the way to escape? Then he was forced to jump off a cliff. Waiting at home. I'm going to the field to leave. On the road, someone suddenly shouted for help. Yongyu is Yomei from the same village. Dajiang sent her to the hospital. Everyone thought Shimei was killed by Ojiang. I really can't wash it well even if I jump into the river. I can only wait for Shimei to wake up before the truth will come out. But Xiumei suddenly woke up. Bata is suffering from dementia because of a local injury. The only person who can work in the river is here. So he got sentenced to 15 years for that crime. It's just that the great river entered the wrong place. And his mother did this. The heart of the word has arrived. Chenhua is going to figure things out. The next day, Chonghua called the class early in the morning. She arrived at Dajian's hometown. This is it. She arrived at Wenmi's house. Sitting in the courtyard, talking with Xumei. The original OE is real. He was trying to figure out that he was a good person. Returning home to the spring flowers. Because I am the last generation of the old middle class. So it's fixed. If it is really cured, the matter of Dajiang can be exposed to the world. And they can live in peace. The real spring flower hit Dajiang. He will definitely bloom with spring flowers. The true thoughts of your own heart. Night Dajiang, answer spring flowers. Clear your name. Spring flower one noodles, wedding. Then I will send you spring flowers with the stucco I made by myself. Make a wedding gift. People are hugging each other. Chonghua has waited for a moment. And Dajiang also wanted to understand. The spring flowers have a happy future. He's going to turn himself in. Junhua, there is a block. Instead, it was wrong. Spring flower, Dajiang, do a feast. She goes to the market to bring some meat. Waiting for the notification on unexpected. The above criminal is the Dajiang of the family. She panicked. At a loss. It's only in the old world shouting. Pick up the meat and run away. On the way back, Zhonghua is afraid that more people will know. She went back to the market. Watched the people on the road go less. He hurried forward and wanted to tear down the order. Right there, I put out my hand. The spring flower quid can't be worn for a while. Go back and take a look. The original one is the village one. Moruki knew that it wasn't her cousin who was in her house. He's a fugitive on the warrant. Truwell wants to ask the village for one eye and one eye. But this is a request of the village. Chenhua understands the meaning of the village. And there was a scene of being bullied. With the help of canned people, Chenhua was able to escape. Bullied spring flowers go home. Hug Dajiang. Under the influence of the village, OE surrendered. He was taken away by the police at night. And Chenhua embarked on the road of. She sent a child to worship her second sister-in-law. Then he went to the hospital to ask for help from the elderly. I hope to understand the effect of each. Okay, snow plum disease. Just take the spring flowers up the mountain and go to the middle of the mountain, regardless of the rain. Can't stop her. She wants Xumei to get better soon, because she's Ta Jiang's life-saving straw. A kind woman. Just take a photo of the day and night on Xumei's body. Xumei is not drinking. She even tried to feed her with her mouth. Day and night, I spent a lot of time with snow plums doing health. At night, she took out the love gift from Da Jiang. Thinking of Da Jing. Think about it. The hardest work of spring flowers is white. Xumei's condition is now better. She remembered the day she was born. Then she started crying in pain. It was Annual from the Xing village who bullied her. Not Da Jiang. Spring flowers are leaning against the wall wearily. So, she's tired, of course. But the heart is high. Because Xumei can clear up his grievances with the sea. Chunha Xumei embarked on the road of grievance. And Xumei also came out of the haze. She wants a good person to rescue her. To bring people to justice. And there are hundreds of people walking out of the village, but just waiting to leave the village. He was kidnapped by the village gangsters. And the second cow who bullied Xumei in the new year. Zhonghua looked at Erniu in front of her. Then it slapped him hard. Afraid that the two of them will tell themselves. Zhonghua and Xumei were picked up by him. He was dreaming that Xumei would marry him. But Xumei. So low. Even if I die, I will never marry you. This is the world of two bulls. Chenhua saw the package. She rubbed her beard. Then he jumped and ran away with Ximi. Saw the two flee. Erniu hurriedly chased after someone. Song Chenhua was caught up by Erniu and others. He took the stonework. Then the spring flowers fell. But there is no shadow of Xumei here. The original one was able to sell 2 cattle. So he ran away. Are you in the warehouse? Spring flower love things. Snow plum. Is there any problem? Let's make a deal with Dajiang. Then Xumei left. The path has long been closed. He pointed at the nose of Erniu. Hit hard. The enraged Erniu did something intolerant. He pushed the spring flowers down the cliff. So far, this period of love in Phoenix Mountain, the hardest thing to do is get together. What a joke. Oyi is cleared of charges. Walk out. And the spring flowers unfortunately left him. And all that's left is pain and missing. A period of desperation is distressing. Man can be angry. Chenhua was originally a weak woman. But it's over. So can he. Moving forward, right? He suffers. Free love. He sacrificed his life. The gossip of the world. He doesn't want to. Because his heart doesn't have that scale. It balances the injustices of the world. If there is love, the sky will also grow old. The right path for humans is mulberry.